Hello, I'm Martin Mercer.
And I'm James Mastriani.
You've never heard of us.
We're two Brits who grew up in North London and have had varying success in the film and television industry.
In our ever-advancing age, we find ourselves on
the wrong side of Hollywood.
In our series of podcasts, we'll share our experiences of what it's like being a British bloke living and working,
or not,
in the biz.
We'll discuss everything from fish and chips to things that wind us up.
So stay with us. It's all uphill from here.
This podcast may contain strong language. If you're of a sensitive nature or easily offended, we invite you to, as they say in Blighty, Jog-on.
Thanks to our dear listeners like you, the Wrong Side of Hollywood podcast is made possible by donations from our Patreon members.
Whether it be a one-off or a generous monthly contribution, why not consider heading over to patreon.com/the wrong side of Hollywood.
There you can become a member and have access to behind-the-scenes videos and other exclusive content. Thank you.
Thank you. So here we are.
Hello, mate.
Nice to see you again.
Welcome back.
Yeah, thank you.
So
where are we?
We are in Pasadena. And we're actually, for the first time ever, recording on location at a very nice coffee shop.
Yes. And what's the name of the coffee shop, James?
So we are in Jones Coffee Roasters in South Pasadena at the cross street of Mission and Meridian, across the street from the Michael Myers house. These gentlemen have very kindly allowed us to record this week's podcast here.
It's very good. You actually sound like a BBC newscaster.
I did. I tried.
You do? Here we are.
I put a couple of ers in there, though. I can't help myself.
Well, so you can give yourself working editing.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's not cheap, is it?
No, it isn't.
No.
But faster now.
And it's faster because
Of our good friend who's been helping us out with editing, giving me pointers and how to do things faster. So, yeah, it's helping a great deal. So thank you, Neil. Much appreciated, mate.
Yeah, great man. Now, the thing is, I've just come back from the UK.
Right.
So this is my first outside shop experience. And I'm eating a croissant here.
Okay.
It's not bad, but I always think that American baked goods are what I call bionic.
How do you mean?
Well, because in Britain and Europe, they're very delicate, aren't they?
Oh, yeah.
You know, you get a little pastry, it's the size of a silver quarter.
Right.
But it tastes delicious. Whereas here, I'm looking at this croissant. It's literally the size of Iceland. It's dusted in icing sugar, and I literally feel like I'm flying over Iceland. But it's not unpleasant.
No,
if
it
you
should
dunk love.
Oh, yeah.
Love.
So Martin is dunking his croissant, which looks like an almond croissant, into his coffee, which is a cappuccino, by the looks of it. And I just have a regular coffee, and I'm
quite boring, aren't you? You've got a normal coffee.
My boring croissant, yeah, because I don't like the fancy stuff.
So look,
Of course, we're both chewing at the same time.
I know. We're both masticating at the same time.
Yeah.
So it's Halloween.
Yes, it is.
And we thought we'd come on location to where one of my favourite and your favourite Halloween movies was shot. And the interesting thing, it was meant to be Haddonfield, right? Isn't that in Illinois?
Yeah.
And of course, they didn't shoot it there. They shot it in Pasadena. And as legend has it, they had bags of leaves, which they sprinkled everywhere.
Right.
When you look at a movie, you would never know.
No.
And it's such a great film. The way it's shot, the way Carpenter uses deep focus and brings up Michael Myers into the background, into the foreground. It's just a classic film. My lovely wife is with us, and she has just showed us on the phone South Pasadena's Halloween hedge still attracts visitors after 45 years. So basically, people still coming.
Yeah.
We visited the house.
We visited Laurie Strode's house.
Yes. And we then visited Myers' house. Was it his house? It wasn't, was it? Or, yes, it was. He returned to his childhood house. And that's, of course, where they do the wonderful shot using the Panaglide system, which is a weighted system that suspends the camera. And back then, it had hardly been used. Now, am I correct in thinking this came out after The Shining? Or was it before The Shining?
I think this was 78.
Yeah.
But again, we'll have to fact check that because we should know this. We should have done our homework before we came out.
Well, we did. I did. You might not have.
Well, you took pictures.
I didn't have to do homework. I know this shit off by heart.
No, well.
Come on, and I'm more of a horror fan than you. You've gone soft over the years.
Really?
Yes.
You think so?
I do. But at least you like this film and you're here. So that's good.
And whose idea was it to come here?
It was yours.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. What was that?
It was yours, but supported by me. Anyway, so the thing is, The Shining was 1980, I think.
Right, okay.
Halloween, I think it was 79.
Or 78.
Yeah, so I know they did a test of the Panaglide system. Carpenter did it.
That was at Panavision.
Yeah, at Panavision.
Yeah.
Right, so that they did the test and then they decided to do the opening shot. Absolutely fantastic. Now, I don't know about you, James, but what I thought was very disturbing about Halloween was that he used a child.
Right.
You know, you're witnessing a child murdering somebody,
Right.
which Carpenter's done quite a lot because he did that in Assault on Precinct 13 where a child gets killed.
Right.
And it's that stuff that just jolts you into the film, I think.
Right. And also with Halloween, wasn't it a child's point of view though?
Yeah.
So it's much lower angles and therefore much more creepy because you're like, okay, why is this child carrying a knife? You know, but no, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But,
So I feel I'm being watched already.
We are.
Yeah, I got that Michael Myers essence flowing over me, coddling me.
You'll notice that the angle is very low.
Yeah, childlike.
Child's angle.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so I think that's what really struck me about that film. Well, first of all, the opening shot, seeing it on grainy video, because I never went to the
Right.
cinema, I was too
Right.
young. And then when you see the mask slip over his face and he goes upstairs
Yeah.
and he kills his sister.
Yeah.
And then, of course, another thing I love about the film is Donald Pleasance. Now, Donald
Yeah.
Pleasance, basically, he needed the money.
Right.
But it turned out to be one of his best roles.
Yeah.
And brought him a lot of fame
Exactly.
and money.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's great. You know, it's like going to Cricklewood to see where the Hellraiser house was.
Right,
It's
okay.
that same kind of feeling. I remember when we visited your lovely sister, you took me past
Right.
Freddie's house,
Yeah.
which we can
Which
visit.
we're
is in
going
a-
to visit another time.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a whole
Another
map
classic
of
film.
places to go to. But anyway, we digress. How was Blighty?
Yeah, well, Blighty, it's so strange. When you're from another country and you visit your home, there's just a little blur. It's like that little jitter. And then next thing I know, I'm at Tesco's. I'm being driven around by my 81-year-old mum. And,
How was that?
oh, she's very good. I mean, she drives a stick, for God's sake.
Yeah.
And there was a few moments, sorry, mum, but there were a few moments where my sphincter did snap shut a few times. But she insists on driving me around, and I did rent a car for a bit, but it's not cheap. So we would do our little runs. We'd go to Barnet, we'd go to Potter's Bar.
Right.
It was lovely seeing mum. We just lost our dad last year.
Yeah, sorry.
And so I was there for the anniversary. We sprinkled his ashes, found a nice place to do that. And we just spent a nice time with mum and just making sure she's all right and she's not on her own and all that stuff. And so we did this thing where every night we go and watch crap TV. So I was watching the British Bake Off. I was watching Married on First Sight,
Oh my God.
which is this program where they get these people and they're just, I hate to say it, but they're interesting people, let's put it that way.
White trash.
Yeah, white British trash. And they basically have these people, they make this huge wedding. They've never met each other before. And they appear at the altar and they get married.
Oh my
They are
God.
married.
Really?
And then they film these reactions. And me and mum were just like slagging them off. We were eating our chocolate biscuits, dunking them in our tea, and we're having a good old bitch. And it was just moments like that were just the best time. Good old time. We were looking at British Bake Off. Oh, and another thing, I found myself watching Strictly Come Dancing.
Well, that's good though.
And I know I was getting really into it, and I was going, oh, mum, look, they're not moving, they're all stiff, look. And I was right. The judges thought so too, and it was a 4 and a 5. And so that was quite fun. So it was a great time. And then, of course, we did our supermarket thing because, you know, I mean, I've been lucky to be able to travel back to Britain. I'd saved up and I knew I was going to go back and visit mum. But the thing is, it's a terrible time in the film industry. Even in the UK, I was talking to some friends there.
Yeah, because
one
nothing's
of them,
been written over here.
yeah, one of them had to remortgage his house.
Oh my God.
At least he has a house. Somebody else hasn't worked since May. And over here, it's even worse. And I was driving around and I drove through Elstree and there's massive new Sky Studios, which is huge. And then I went past Leavesden and Warner Brothers and they're investing in there and they're going to be doing all their DC stuff there. And it was interesting being in that sort of environment. And I thought, well, let's have a look at the cost of living.
Yeah.
Let's see, is it cheaper in Britain? Is it cheaper in America? And not over the whole, but things like groceries, that's important. Because I don't know about you, but when I look at our bill now, the shopping bill has doubled.
Oh yeah, no, it's
Double.
crazy. I mean, we've just put together a video where we compare British and American prices. And I think we should clarify also that California is probably one of the most expensive states.
Yeah.
So things are generally more expensive, specifically Los Angeles.
Is that because it's all organic here?
Yeah. No, I don't know.
So having looked at our video, what do you think compared to Blighty? Because the thing is, when you go to Britain, I would say heating and water costs are probably more than here.
Sure.
To be honest with you.
Yeah.
Petrol is much more expensive there because it's sold in the litre.
Yes.
Here, it's a gallon. 4.5 litres to the gallon.
Yes. So you'll see on the video that the equivalent price in England comes to about $8.75 a gallon.
Yeah.
As opposed to here, right now it's actually dropped from when we did the video, it's actually $5 a gallon.
Right.
So it's a nice round number that you can actually go, okay, I got 12 gallons for $60, but that's still 12 gallons for 60 freaking bucks.
Yeah. And the problem is, again, being in America, there's the whole thing about being free and driving wherever you can. And of course, it's not even that now. California is very expensive, isn't it?
It is.
And especially with the fuel taxes and so on and so forth.
Well, the thing with living in California, they do this thing where they have winter gas and summer gas.
Yeah.
And every time that switchover happens, the prices just jack up for about a month. It's crazy. Yeah. And no other state has as high gas prices as California.
Yeah.
So it's really upsetting in that aspect, considering we have friends in different states that are paying $3 a gallon. You know, and that's high for them.
No, I know. But also the transportation system here is quite bad. They've added a lot of infrastructure, but it's still quite bad in the consensus. We didn't take the train to come up here.
Yeah.
I have to say we could have, but the route would have been...
You would have to go downtown LA from North Hollywood and then back out again.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, but now, back in Blighty, I can get a bus and that goes to Barnet, it goes to Potter's Bar. I can go from Potter's Bar to St Albans. But I don't have to go all around the houses to do that.
Right, except for the fact that the public transportation system here is way cheaper. Way cheaper.
Here?
Yeah.
It is. That is true.
When we were at school, going back 500 years,
BC.
I remember taking a bus from Hadley Wood to Southgate, it was 10 pence.
That's right, and do you remember they did fares fair?
Yeah, and then when they brought in the away day pass, it was £1.20 anywhere in London all day.
Well, now, when I went out to London the other day, I used the Oyster card still, and that was £15.
Yes, and if you go from Potter's Bar, which is where we would go after we moved out one zone, it was like 18 to 25 pounds.
Yeah, no, totally taking the piss.
Yeah.
Because you remember when you visited Dell in Amsterdam?
I did.
And when me and Samhain had this thing called a strip and ticket,
yes.
I was a bit worried at first because I thought that went to the red light district.
Yeah, well, you know.
Strip, get it? Strip.
Yeah.
Red light district, strip. Anyway, so, but it wasn't, what it was three things. You got the train.
Right.
You got the bus.
And the tram.
And you got the trolley.
The trolley, yeah.
The tram. And that covered everything.
Yeah.
And
you
would
just
tear
thing
off
in London, you know, the trains and the tubes and the buses.
But it was much cheaper.
Yeah.
It was much cheaper.
Everywhere's cheaper than London as far as transportation
It
goes.
is, but you see, when I was on our main road in London, the circular road is the M25.
Right.
So I suppose, what's that like, the 405? What would you say is the
Well,
equivalent?
there isn't an equivalent really, but it would be,
Well,
as far
imagine there was.
as the volume of traffic, it would be like the 405.
Right, so there's a little equivalency there, eh?
Yeah.
Coffee.
Except, well, no, my point being is that the M25 goes all the way around London.
No, I know, but I'm not, how's your coffee,
120
Hoffy?
miles.
How's your coffee, Hoffy?
My coffee's empty, mate. It's time for a refill.
Oh, well, I treated you to that one. How was it?
It was all right, actually.
Good. Anyway, so if you look at the state of the 405 and the road surface, and yet on the M25, to me, I was amazed. You've got all the infrastructure, you've got the lights, it tells you what's going on.
Right.
Here, there's none of that, really.
No, there are in certain areas.
So you're still paying through the nose.
Yeah.
I think the infrastructure and everything is much better there, quite frankly. Now, people there will grumble and say no.
Well, I do remember sitting in M25 traffic. And again, the problem with the M25 as opposed to American motorways is over here, you've got an exit every half mile. So if you get stuck in traffic, if you're lucky, you can get off the freeway.
Oh, that is true. Yeah.
If you're on a British motorway, you're on it for 7 or 8 miles. And if you've missed the exit, you're screwed.
That is true, but on the other hand, it says Potter's Bar, Junction 24. You go on, right? But you can also exit. Here, you fucking go on, and then your exit is just, it's not there. It's
I know. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah, but you're confused. No, because once you get on the motorway at the M25, you can't get off until you're at Potter's Bar.
No, I understand that.
Enfield,
I understand that.
Or Barnet.
Anyway, so that's the
I
road.
know what you mean.
That's the road system. No, you don't. I'm just saying.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
So anyway, what's it like to be back?
Yeah, I'm in that floaty.
Your voice went up.
Yeah, that means I fucking want to go back.
I have to say,
I'm very glad to see my darling wife,
of course,
who is here with us.
She's not here. We're on our own.
That's right.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was lovely seeing my lovely son Lucas, who we all heard on the last podcast. But the rest of it is just like. Quite frankly, you lift off from Britain and it's all green and there's all these little hedgerows, and then you come in and it's just like, it's like the Death Star. And then through the mist, you can just see this vast factory, or whatever they are. There's like warehouses.
Oh, just warehouses, yeah.
Actually, what I did notice was there's more water. When you fly over the Grand Canyon, you can actually see the Colorado River is like water there, as opposed to before when
I was going to say, well, that's because of the recent rains, because we've been in a drought for the best part of 10 years.
Yeah.
So that's quite good that it's all starting to replenish.
Yeah, so that's what it's like coming back. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of good stuff here and everything, but there's always that tearing. It always happens, that tearing. It is your homeland, it is your home country, and you do feel that tearing away, especially from my mum. And, you know, I'm a mum's boy. So feel that tear, and especially coming back into this fucking strike still going on and all that.
Well, at least the writers are sorted, so things are being written ready for when the actors come back.
Yeah.
I have to say, seeing some videos and pictures that you sent from Blighty did trigger my homesick response.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I wish I was there.
Yeah.
And the thing is that I know that I'll only need to be there for about a week and I'm ready to come back here again because of...
But you see, you and I have very different opinions on that, don't we? Because I think you're much more like, no, I love it here, and I'm kind of like,
I used to.
Oh.
I mean, I do love it here. I mean, I'm looking at this beautiful old town Pasadena, and it's gorgeous. Right. You know, if I lived around here, that'd be great. But, you know, we live in a part of the world which isn't particularly pleasant. Not because of how we've made it, but because of other things around us.
It's urban, mate.
Yes.
It's urban. We're country boys at heart, aren't we?
Yes, we are. Greenbelt.
Fucking chair scrapers, I can't stand them. The worst.
But anyway, it's good to have you back.
Yeah, glad to be back, mate. Actually, glad to carry on with the podcast because I think our audience is gagging for the next one.
I think they are gagging.
And what are you going as in Halloween, by the way?
I'm going as
apart from myself.
A miserable... I'm going
What's
as
your costume?
Old man yells at cloud.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, because Carl's got my Freddy sweater that was knitted by a dear friend of mine, so I don't have that anymore.
Did I make you up as Freddy that time? I covered you in latex, didn't I?
No,
did you?
I did that at home, which was fun. Won a bottle of champagne at the pub.
You did?
I did. And then Catherine filmed me taking the latex off my face, which was horrendous. I've got that video somewhere, but I'll have to figure that one out.
Yeah, I was thinking, even though Halloween came from England, it's English.
Is it?
Yes, and they use turnips. Right. They would hollow out turnips and put candles in them. Okay. In America, it's pumpkins.
Right.
Now, when I was back, it was getting ready for Halloween, right? Because it's much more celebrated there now.
Right.
And we were at the pub, and it's pissing down with rain.
Okay.
And you can see this field, and there's all these pumpkins there. And there's a shelter, and these poor, sad sacks are all stood there with their little kids, pissing down the rain, and then they just send the kid out
in his little pumpkin patch,
in his little anorak to try and find a pumpkin. Like,
oh, you see, that's the great thing about America is that you just go to the store and you get the whole stack.
You can do that there as well. But I just thought it was funny. It was raining, and they were desperately trying to celebrate Halloween. But their kids were like, you know. In Britain, it used to be in the rain, it doesn't matter, but I thought it was funny. Yeah. But going back to Halloween when we were lads, and it wasn't really celebrated. And I remember going to the pub, and I dressed myself as Regan from The Exorcist. Okay. So I did the hair, I had all the cuts, you know, your mother sucks cocks in hell, all that kind of stuff.
Can we say that?
And then I went to the pub and sat there, and I was the only one in fancy dress. And it was really tragic.
Awkward.
Yeah, it was a bit awkward.
Yeah.
It really was. Yeah.
So that day I dressed up as Freddy. I went to the pub. Annabelle was behind the bar at the pub.
Now, were you the only one dressed up? Or
no, there was a few people there.
Okay.
But I won the best costume because I took red tissue paper and latex and stuck it all over my face.
Copydex, wasn't it?
Yes.
Remember that? Carpet glue.
Yeah, Copydex. latex glue.
Yeah.
And that was really painful. It was great for the time, but then pulling it off, I was just like, okay, this isn't good.
Good for the zits. You didn't have many zits though, did you? I had loads.
Thanks. How do we go from Halloween to zits?
Well, they're both scary, aren't they?
But yeah, so it was fun. And then I think years later,
say that was fun.
When I was,
why was it fun?
Well, it was fun because I won. That's why it was fun.
You didn't share that with me, did you?
I didn't.
Champagne.
No, I didn't. I shared
it with Annabelle.
Yeah.
No.
But years later, when I'm working on Big Bad Beetleborgs, I still had that sweater because Carl wasn't born at that
took
point.
it with you.
And I wore it, and they actually made me up.
Oh, okay.
So I've got all these
Did you
photographs.
get a picture of that?
Yeah, on the set.
I haven't seen any of these
No,
pictures.
they're slides. I've got them at home.
We could post one of those.
Yeah, except I don't know. I'm too young for the part.
I bet you've got... Oh, right. You look at yourself and go, oh,
yeah,
memories of youth.
Yeah. And do you remember I made that Freddy glove at school?
Yes. Yeah, that's right. That was actually really good.
Yeah.
That was really good.
Yeah,
it was really good.
I still have it.
Well, did you bring it over
I
here?
did bring it over here. Yeah, I smuggled it.
Okay, well, you could take a picture of that, can't you?
Yeah.
I think that would be quite fun.
It's not.
Oh, I said it's
not
fun
picture.
now.
Yeah,
I said it's fun now.
It's not screen accurate though. That's the thing, because I couldn't get the right knives for it, and I didn't have time to actually make the angle pointed. So they're more like real knives.
They were straight.
Blunted down. They were straight.
Yeah, they weren't bent. They were straight.
Yeah, they were. That's exactly right.
But yeah, we were dabbling with that then, weren't we? And of course, I was doing my makeup effects and everything, but just that fun of just. We were the ones in costume.
Right.
I do remember once going to a party and a girl was kind of like, oh, what do you look like under there? What do you look like under there?
I'll show you.
That makeup.
Zip.
Yeah. Oh dear. Oh my God. Ew, mate.
Of course I had to go.
That'd be a real horror story.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and of course, another fun memory of Halloween is when we went to see Evil Dead 2.
Oh my God.
Which I love. And
Yeah,
we
so
saw it at
who was
Barnet Odeon, which is now the Everyman.
Yes. So who was it? It was you, me, Simon Cohen,
Yeah.
Kate, Annabelle, and who else?
Wasn't it No, Marlene wasn't
No,
it?
it would have been before that. That was
No.
1992.
Sorry,
But that was
Sam.
amazing. So we're in the movie theatre.
That's my ex-girlfriend.
And
Sorry,
we-
Sam.
We were right at the very back.
Yeah.
And it was packed.
Yeah.
And it was a late night
Yes,
showing.
yes.
And there's a bit in the movie where she takes the papers with all the stuff.
And Henrietta, she's underneath.
Henrietta's
she's in the
under-
trapdoor.
And he throws them into the cellar with Henrietta. And who yells out, "No!" at the top of their lungs? Martin got a bigger laugh at that moment in the movie theatre. It was excellent. He was saying what everybody was thinking.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
That was a real good laugh. Yeah. A lot of good times there.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it is quite sunny
It is.
now. And that's always nice, isn't it? You come back, because it was pissing down with rain in Blighty.
Right.
You come back and it is sunny, and I'm wearing a T-shirt here, you're wearing a bikini, and it's quite... It's quite nice. Also, we sat in this cafe, and through my boisterous vocals, we've managed to clear the top floor, so we can continue with our podcast.
But I think we should probably be going.
All right, we'll wrap that up. We'll get out of here.
Okay.
Give them their cafe back.
Welcome home.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate it. Great to see you again.
And you, and we'll see you next time.
Cheers.
Bye.
Before we go, we bring you our
Fact check! Fact check! Fact check!
Fact check segment.
Here with the benefit of hindsight,
And editing.
we can own up to our mistakes.
So, I have to correct myself here. Haddonfield was a fictional town in Illinois for the movie Halloween.
Ah, yeah, I thought it wasn't a real place, but then again, I could just be saying that.
Yeah, right.
I also want to correct you.
Ouch.
You left out a very vital piece of information on the British motorway system, where you said you could get on the motorway and get back off again. I think you were leaving out the very important roundabouts, where you can get off onto a roundabout, and then if you need to get back on the motorway, you can again.
Right. Well, another correction. Halloween, I mistakenly said, was a British festival derived from England, but it was actually Irish, Scottish, Gaelic, pagan. festival called Samhain, pronounced Samhain, which was then appropriated by another religion, and it was called All Hallows Eve, and then became All Saints Day.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there you are. We are done.
Sorted. Boo.
Carry on.